standard from what we have seen in LCK and in the LPL, but some of the bans have surprised me. In Europe, first of all, apparently we don't really need to ban things like Gangplank because no one for some reason picks it. Even though in LCK it's like such a contested pick, and from what I'm hearing from other regions, they're also really loving the Gangplank. But not in Europe so far. Jarvan ban, not a big surprise here. Alistar ban, I think we're a little bit too scared of Alistar at the moment. I think Braum personally is a better support, so I'm not really sure why Alistar's always getting removed.
Well, we'll find out once the season plays out. It's day 1, it's game 4. We don't have too many picks and bans under our belts, but Alistar Zoe Cogmore rounds out ROCCAT's ban. Kalista and J4. Ladies and gentlemen, crank up that bass as we're about to get down. Where are we going with first pick?
Well, right now, if you're looking at the 100% pick rate, pick and ban rates, like we're looking at things like Ezreal, Sejuani, and Ryze that are still left up. You can't only get rid of one of them if you want to, but Schalke doesn't want to play against Xayah or Khan as a combo, so they banned the Xayah. But again, now, it means things like Sejuani is there, Ezreal, and again, the Ryze I mentioned before. All 100% pick ban over in the LCK, and also been contested today here in Europe.
Do you have a preference on what you like for first pick? Like Ezreal in comparison to the other sort of 100% or maybe A to S tier picks?
I think in this case, if you're ROCCAT going Ezreal, he is fine because Kalista, Xayah banned on the side of Schalke, and you also banned your own AD carry on the side of ROCCAT, and you can still trade Ryze for Azir.
Right.
If you want to take a mid lane trade, so you're actually getting a lot of value by grabbing the best AD carry available that you can't really match just yet on the side of Schalke.
So let's see where they go. Not only do they have to match the AD carry power,
we saw this one first
Vander in the role swap. Ryze locked in, there was a hover over the Evelynn, but going to another assassin, it's going to be Kha'Zix instead.
Kha'Zix we get here. Now, if you are on the side of ROCCAT, typically we see mid lane being picked now, and it will be normally Azir in this case. If you pick Malzahar, Tahm Kench can be locked in on the side of Schalke, and you're kind of like, well, this sucks. So Azir is typically the go-to choice, also because he's really good with Ezreal. Kite back, long team fights. Trevor's voice will disappear halfway through because every fight is suddenly 20 minutes. ROCCAT on their side is saying, you know what? That's Tahm Kench. We'll take it even though there's no Malzahar.
So no real surprises yet. We're still seeing the popular picks. It's just some of the bands that you were questioning, maybe.
They're just a little bit different. Yeah. But Europe, clearly with their own ban meta so far. Ooh, this would be very interesting. He just got buffed on 8.1. And he's actually really good against tank supports.
And it's not going to happen.
No, but I'm talking about Braum, because I don't talk about hovers.
That's right. I mean, you said it. Braum, you even said was better than Alistar.
There you go.
Going back to it, if you don't say the name, you never make a mistake.
Exactly.
AD carry pool is available for pinching if they want to go that route. Probably not going to be the case. Ornn still up and available, and there's the Sejuani ban.
There's the Sejuani ban, obviously. No jungler picked on the side of ROCCAT yet. For AD carry, things like Tristana are still there. Vayne, Sivir are picks you can take against Ezreal as well. It's pretty hard to predict the bot lane with Vander here because we don't really know what Vander likes to play in the AD carry role, seeing as he's obviously normally a support. They could have maybe tried to go for the Ornn Sion bot lane we had over in Vietnam here with Levi's. Former Team Gigabyte Marines playing it. I added the former part.
I know, it was good recovery. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that yet. That would be a Mickey special, maybe.
But that would have been sick now with 2 supports in the bot lane.
It would have been. Unfortunately, not the case. Vladimir rounds out Schalke's bans, along with the Sejuani. One last ban being Tristana, so it was the AD carry pinching in terms of some of those S tier or top tier picks, maybe with Xayah, Tristana, Cogmore, Caitlyn, a lot, and Kalista all off the table.
I just want to see if Vander is confident enough in taking something like a Vayne. Laning against Ezreal, Tahm Kench is not always the hardest thing in the world, and it is really good then in the late game, but he's playing it very safe. Can't really blame him for that one. It is Varus being locked in and not going for the crazy one.
Good opening pick. Safe champion. Provides some more utility to, well, really is quite a lot of utility on the side of Schalke, but not a huge amount of tankiness.
Classic Freddy hover right there.
Really like that. Heaq paying some respects to his undefeated series coach behind him.
Now, top lane is really interesting because there are very few safe blind picks in Europe at the moment because people are not picking GP, which has been used as a blind pick in other regions. So if you normally want a blind pick, you then say, okay, Cho'Gath, or just some sort of tank where you might lose lane a little bit, but you're useful in team fights. Not in this case here. Prophet goes with Gnar, and that is risky because Gnar does have a lot of counter matchups. Like Jay's top lane can really destroy him hard. And Vizicsacsi
Yes.
is a man who likes to play carry top laners and destroy you in lane.
If there's any top laner you do not want to wave a red flag at, like a bull, because he's going to charge you, Vizicsacsi's the man.
He definitely
He
is.
will opt into those 1-for-1 trades 90% of the time.
Camille is also open for him if he wants to play that, but what's going on here?
Now, I've not seen a huge amount of Ornn throughout the course of EU today. One game earlier, Ruin played it phenomenally, and Chachi's got it. What do you think Ornn into Gnar?
I mean, the thing about Ornn is, if you're not playing like a matchup that can really shut him down hard in lane, then he's still really, really strong. Ton of CC, very tanky, good early trading in lane. So I don't think it's a bad pick by any means here for Vizicsacsi, but I would have loved to see him counter-pick this Gnar and then see Schalke play around with Vizicsacsi, because let's be real, they shouldn't really be playing around their bottom lane, seeing as it's two supports.
Yes.
I needed Vizicsacsi then to be a guy who could carry, but he's now on a tank. So they're actually not trying to throw any curveballs in this draft, and it seems to be like a very standard draft, even though it's not a standard lineup because of no upset.
Exactly. You gotta work around that substitution. We'll see how they perform. Freddy and Andre about to shake hands as we kick off ROCCAT against Schalke. Of course, if you have just tuned in, Upset is not playing today due to a medical issue. And of course, their substitute Boris has stepped in. That means Vander has role swapped for this game to AD carry. Looking at the picks and bans, do you see big trends? Obviously, ROCCAT's got the option to kite and fight. They've got some of those tools and safety. Can keep peeling backwards, but they've got some pick potential as well.
I mean, I really like Evelynn, first of all, in this meta here. If you can't punish her in the early game, she just completely takes over in the late game. I just think it's risky against Kha'Zix, and that's where I'm a little bit hesitant on saying I think it's a great pick in this situation, because Kha'Zix can find her in the early game and punish her 1v1. Though, as you highlighted, a lot of kite back on the ROCCAT side. I think also that's why Ornn was selected for Vizicsacsi with that long-range potential engage. Otherwise, no one could really force a clear fight on the side of Schalke.
Yeah, the call of the Forge Guard could be game-breaking. Ladies and gentlemen, in Berlin, we're loading onto the Rift. This is officially the coolest picks and bans song we have in the rotation. Thank you, production team. Let's see who's going to get the early advantage.
We need to embrace that we're in Germany, though. We need like 1, 2, Polizei or something in that pick and ban phase.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Just for like one pick and ban.
The problem is then we would have the crowd cheering and singing instead of looking at the picks and bans.
It would be too much of a party then.
Yeah.
That's true. You cannot have too much fun here in the EU LCS.
No, this is serious business. And lane shenanigans, nobody set up just yet. Looking at League of Stopwatches, 6 of them again.
Yeah.
Schalke really committing to this tree, it looks like.
Only Boris down the bot lane, not selecting one for himself on the Braum. Definitely not necessary either, but overall here, Vizicsacsi on the Ornn in top lane, as we highlighted in Champ Select, did not want to go for a counter pick to try and destroy the lane and just take over as a carry. Went for the safe tank, add some more engage, because once we go into this late game, Evelynn scaling is fantastic.
Yeah.
Ezreal, Azir as a combination, great. But it's then coming down suddenly to Blanc and Heaq and their positioning in late game teamfights. And I think with Heaq, in the past, he's not been shining in the early laning phase, but he's had some of these games where he stood out in late game fights, and this needs to be one of them.
Of course, the performance of the new ROCCAT squad is something we're going to be talking about. You know, we touched on in the pregame. This new look squad, not the Kingslayers of 2017.
Not yet.
Not yet. There we go. All 5 members. This is the former roster, of course. Buxy, Pride, now playing for Schalke, his opposing team, Betty, Hyun, and Wadid. They've now swapped to the 5 players on your screen. And Deficio, we've already touched on some of the elements they've got to play up in game.
And one of the very important things to highlight here is that when this ROCCAT lineup in 2017 was shown to the world, people were saying, ooh, a lot of question marks, a lot of players they're not really sure of. And those players actually ended up having some really good games and became, as you said, the Kingslayers. This ROCCAT 2018 lineup, kind of the same story, where there are some of the names like Heaq and Memento and Prophet, where you feel like you have seen them before, and they weren't dominating in the EU LCS, so you start kind of questioning, okay, is this their peak? You know, how good can they be? But a team like ROCCAT can take some of those players who's not reached that peak just yet, and then push them towards it, and actually suddenly have some members that start outperforming expectations.
And there's even more pressure on the ROCCAT squad because they're coming up against a very hyped up Schalke roster, and it's a roster with a substitute. So Schalke have to figure out how they're going to play this game with a role swap and a sub. It's almost like two substitutes in a manner of speaking. And the pressure on them as well. Day one, big debut after re-qualifying to the LCS, and no real problems in lane yet. You kind of expect the TK Ezreal to push in a Braum Varus, and that's exactly what they're doing. Tongue lashes and mystic shots all the way.
Well, I think right now Schalke are fine as long as their bot lane is just playing safe and not really risking too many things. Meanwhile, though, Pride on this Kha'Zix. It's one of the picks that can punish an Evelynn extremely hard. Pride is the one play you look at on this Schalke lineup and you say, okay, we saw the potential,
right?
But we're not sure if this guy is going to be one of the absolute best junglers in Europe. It's impossible to say at this point.
Right.
Schalke believed in him. They interviewed him, they liked it. They said early on, we want to sign this guy. There was built-in synergy because NukeDuck and Vander had already played a lot with him in solo queue. And they're putting a lot of focus on him now with giving him a Kha'Zix in the first game and saying, yo, go crazy. Show us what you can do on this carry jungler.
We're going to find out, aren't we? A few minutes to go before we start seeing those big trades or bursts. I mean, level 4 for Memento, level 4 for Pride. A couple of deep wards placed by the ROCCAT squad. I quite like this pink ward by Memento on the red buff. We caught a glimpse of Norskeren walking into Pride's blue buff. And good proactive vision from ROCCAT. And this is going to allow Memento to get in behind Vizicsacsi.
Let's remember, Evelynn is not stealth before level 6, so you don't need the wards on the camps just yet if you're Schalke. They have not spotted the Evelynn because he's actually been sneaking his way in behind. Been waiting for a long time. He's going now.
All right, let's see what Memento can do. That's an early flash. The allure comes out. Vizicsacsi takes a couple of hate spikes to the face. Prophet thinks about the dive. Doesn't risk it. And Vizicsacsi just a summoner spell.
Still getting him low. TP was already used by Vizicsacsi earlier. And that suddenly means now that Prophet gets quite a big advantage in terms of early experience in this lane here. Very important for ROCCAT. Prophet is the kind of player who loves to sit in the side lane. He loves to be a split pusher.
Really? Where did we see that last?
I believe last split.
Oh, that's right.
On NIP. And funny enough, he also really liked to play Gnar there.
All right.
And now he gets a great start to his laning phase.
What's going to be interesting is whether or not Prophet gets to shine more with players around him who should perform a little better. Memento with a great early gank already, good early vision setup in that top half. They're just going to let Prophet do Prophet things. Keep shoving in, and I will see. See you in the next few minutes.
NukeDuck and Pride, already as we talked about, you gotta invade on this Evelynn in the early game. Level 6 is a first big power spike. If you can get in there before that, she won't do a whole lot against you. They do get a few Raptors. Didn't actually see Pride pick them up or Memento did, but there was a little fight at least.
Yeah, a little bit of trading in the jungle. NukeDuck did leave his lane to go and help out Pride on that invade, and we've not looked at the mid lane too much. NukeDuck taking on Blanc. And of course, NukeDuck has always been one of the most talked up players, mid laners in the EU LCS. Is this the year of NukeDuck because the team should be able to make him shine? Yes or no?
I'm saying yes. It's the year of NukeDuck. He was really good last split already. So again, that kind of builds towards, you know, the year of
single-handedly winning games.
He definitely carried a lot of games on his own on-team vitality. And again, the amount of respect he gets, the fact that Febiven is not here, Power Vivo's left as well. There are a few, there's less mid laners right now in the top to fight against, and NukeDuck is going to be one of those guys we're looking at to be one of the best.
This, the year of NukeDuck. Where's the realm warp? Hasn't used it yet, doesn't even need it. Gets the rune prison, tanks a couple of shots, first blood. NukeDuck walks away. We could not have scripted, planned that better.
There we go. And we've seen this already today. A Ryze that pushes his lane in the early game, and then he walks to the top lane, and he kills the top laner.
And you hear the crowd cheering and chanting. That's not for the kill. That's because Ornn is dancing in front of them, getting everybody hyped up. Schalke on the board. And it's the destruction of the Holy Trinity, because the top lane couldn't defend the Trinity of Schalke, Deficio.
Again, we have to remember with the Holy Trinity and the way I approach it, it is a little bit of a shotgun effect. I shoot it out and it spreads around, and it just has to stick at least with one of the teams. Not with ROCCAT early on here, but really nothing a Prophet can do at this point. When the enemy mid lane is roaming with, you know, a little teleport as well, and the enemy jungler shows up, you're going to die.
Well executed. Well played. Looking through summoner spell cost, nothing even invested on the Schalke side. They've got a 500 gold lead as the lane resets, and Blanc, with that Comet and that poke, continuing to chip away at NukeDuck. He's got some support from Memento.
Well, now, yeah, but before here, Blanc couldn't really do much to stop him. Let's see another fight, Trevor.
All right, Memento's in trouble. Pride just deletes
Say it with me.
him.
Say, okay.
NukeDuck, it is your time.
I was gonna say the year of NukeDuck.
I know, but we said that already.
Fine. The Norwegian stallion.
I don't know if you can call it. Do they ride horses in Norway? Isn't it like mooses? It's a moose.
They ride mountain goats. There are only mountains in Norway.
And that's why Ornn was locked in. He's going to call that Forge God to lead Schalke even further. 1,000 gold up. And the carries that needed to step up have done so.
Heaq stole his own red buff. Pride didn't have Smite ready. That one sucks. Well done by Heaq. We'll take it back down to the bot lane and see if we can get further ahead in this lane here. It is Klepto Ezreal, of course.
Yep.
Not that strong in the first, part of the game, but when you're sitting with that tier and just a sheet. But once you hit 2 items, which you do very quickly because of Klepto, you become so annoying and so hard to deal with. And at the moment, ROCCAT, they can just let the bot lane sit and farm and try and protect the top side, because we've already seen one dive against Prophet. But even after the first 2 kills, I still feel like Prophet and the rest of ROCCAT are in an okay spot.
Now take a look at Vizicsacsi. He decides to engage Prophet. Mega Gnar's out, and he's forced to run away. Not trading any big advantages here yet. But Heaq already up 16 CS. That red buff's going to help him out. I mean, Vander and Boris, they've been poked in the whole time. You expect that to happen in the lane. You can see as soon as we take a glimpse down.
But also look at the minimap, Trevor. It's like control wards from ROCCAT side covering the entire bot side.
Thank you,
Then
Purvis.
there is a red buff Ezreal just spam poking you down. It is a horrible lane to be in right now if you are Schalke's bottom lane, and they're not getting any help from their jungler because they know they might just lose that exchange if it's a 3v3 on the bottom side. So at the moment, they just have to try and stay alive, use Relic Shield to get a few more last hits and get some HP back, and see if we can keep this turret alive.
Well, as long as they continue to hold that tower and fend off this pressure, Schalke's taking advantage in the top. Good defense here from Boris, using that Unbreakable to block. Couple of autos at least from Heaq. Norskeren's tongue lashing goes wide, but aim of the game for ROCCAT, take down the tower. Maybe try to rotate around if they can, and for Schalke, it's just gank the flashless Prophet.
It's the same play again here. Prophet this time around gets the call from the mid lane. NukeDuck is missing. He walks back. Is he going back to tower or not? Prophet played safe until NukeDuck shows himself. There we go.
But how much chip damage is Chachi getting on that tower? I didn't quite grasp the damage. So
it shouldn't be a lot yet because he's still a melee champion with the Ornn here. So at the moment, as long as Prophet can stay alive top, the bot lane can do some work.
Yeah, Vander's feeling a little bit hopeful here, pushing forward, chasing with that ultimate available. All summoner spells and teleport are up on the side of Schalke. So if they want to roam, Memento and Blanc, remember it's a double TP Schalke squad. They can come in for this one. Memento and Blanc, they're going forward.
Pride is not here. He's on the other side of the map. So it's just the 2 TPs you just highlighted. Let's see what happens here.
Let's take a look. That's a flash from Vander. Boris puts the Unbreakable. He exhausts Heaq. Vander's the first to fall. That's ROCCAT on the board. Here comes the backup. Schalke, call on the Forge God into a 3-man knocker. Blanc forced to flash for his life. NukeDuck keeps spamming out the overloads, locking down them with the rune prisons. Heaq wants to over the wall, but Vizicsacsi throws down the brittle. Heaq goes golden for a few seconds, but Vizicsacsi does not care. Heaq flashes over the wall to safety. The true shot for Ornn.
He's alive! Oh, he touched it!
Boris sidesteps with the mechanics, and Schalke win the fight.
2 for 1 right there for Schalke in a 4v5 situation. Trevor, you called the double TP already. Instantly, the reaction was there from Schalke's side, and ROCCAT, they thought they could get just 1 kill and then back away and get some damage on the turret. And to make it even worse, because Pride was on the top side when this happened, he just walked into the top lane and said, well, I guess I'm just taking the free tower here.
First tower blood, team fight win, and a 2.5k gold lead. It all stemmed from this play.
And I get the play here. You look at Boris being low, Vander's an easy target to kill, and the TPs need to channel first, so you think you can get 1 or 2 early kills and win the fight. But because they only get the kill on Vander, and then Chachi shows up with a huge ulti and so much damage then from NukeDuck, Well, ROCCAT, they're losing the fight. There's no way out. And they end up losing a second member as well, even though Heaq was very close to getting a kill.
Yeah. Didn't work out this time, though. Heaq with that very late flash. I mean, this little sidestep, so cheeky. Heaq a little unlucky. But the dodge was great. Schalke, what was that, 3 for 1 or 2 for 1
2
rather?
for 1, I believe.
2 for 1 and Tower First Blood. 100% kill participation for the mid laner of the year already.
I mean, yeah, I guess early on.
Too soon? I'll jump in later.
Day one, we call it.
It's the play-by-play's right to make large, sweeping statements, and I enacted it.
It's true. It's true. We've had some very good Ryze performances today.
We have.
Vizicsacsi as well showed up big time for Team Vitality. If you didn't watch that game, I definitely recommend rewatching it. Or watching it for the first time, I guess, with the bot. Seeing as you didn't watch it first, but shame on you for that one.
Oh, it's so good to be back, Martin. I've missed casting.
We gotta get into it again.
I know,
we gotta get into the flow.
Shake off the rust a little bit there.
Hey, look what's happening right now. Schalke is moving down to the bottom lane.
They are. There's the Flash Glacial Fisher. Here comes NukeDuck with the round war, bringing in Pride. Heaq split off. Taste their fears. The overload that secures it. NukeDuck with the double kill.
And I wanted to talk about this just before here, but I was busy making a useless point instead. What happened after Schalke defended that tower dive was all those control wards we had before from ROCCAT, they all got killed. They all died. So all the control on the bottom side disappeared after that one failed tower dive. And that meant now that NukeDuck and, of course, Pride could just walk down to the bottom lane, smack Heaq and Norskeren in the face, and now they get more kills, more turrets. Schalke are so far ahead in this game.
Yeah, a really great play. And map control, you can see the gold lead, 4,000. Despite being down 40 CS.
And look at the minimap.
Great, yeah.
This used to be just a bunch of control wards from ROCCAT. Now it's only one left down here in the bottom lane. They don't see the roam early enough. It's not called early enough either. And then the moment Braum lands the CC, there's nothing you can do as ROCCAT's bottom lane, and you just die. And we've seen a few times now where the team-wide communication from ROCCAT does appear a little bit slow.
Yeah.
NukeDuck is taking full advantage of it because he doesn't care about the Azir. He just leaves.
5-0-1 at 15 minutes.
Player of the year.
That's it. I mean, up till this point, no doubt in my mind. But Deficio, I want to turn the attention a little bit towards ROCCAT because as an organization, this is a squad, an org that has developed nearly countless pros. Pride played with them last split. NukeDuck and Vander played on that squad before. You can see this, 31 total players in the EU LCS have played on the ROCCAT roster at one point. 10 of them, 15 of them, sorry, are also playing in the EU LCS this split. This is a talent factory, but factories don't produce armies of goods hugely instantly. It takes time, it takes development, and that's what they need to do with this new look ROCCAT.
Yeah, every single year when we watch ROCCAT play, it's a slow start.
Yep.
Go back one split. Their first game was against G2 eSports with subs, and they lost. But then when they played against some of these top teams later on in that split, they started winning. They started doing much, much better, and it's going to be the same thing with this ROCCAT lineup. There is a lot of things they got to work on in terms of synergy and communication, figuring out who the main carries are going to be. It is a rough start, even against a lineup that is missing their AD carry at this point. NukeDuck, he doesn't care about Upset being gone at the moment. He's just trying to win the game on his own.
What I love, though, is the vision and the game plan from ROCCAT was good. They established some control. They were pushing the bottom lane, but it was just that next step, converting it into the tower or defending Prophet at the right times. Defensive vision lacking, but offensive vision good. A little bit of things to refine, right?
They still have good scaling
yes.
in the game here. It sucks you down 3k gold 16 minutes in, but the fact that you can rely on Azir and Ezreal in the late game is a big thing. And also, again, this Evelynn, probably the best scaling jungler at the moment. Just get a ton of AP under your belt. You have magic resist shred as well. You can flank almost every team fight because of your stealth. Like, it's so hard to play against her. So as long as ROCCAT can stop the bleeding now and delay the game, 2 to 3 items on Azir, then we're talking suddenly we walk into team fights.
Well, fortunately for ROCCAT, they've got Azir and Ezreal who can stay relatively safe when trying to chip away at those minion waves. It's going to be up to Schalke. They've got a mid turret still to poke down. They've got a couple of wards inside the ROCCAT faction. But look at them posing around this top half of the map.
Yeah, sadly for ROCCAT, Schalke will have a very long-range Ornn to try and start a fight. We'll have NukeDuck's
for protection.
little TP. There's a Braum ulti that can follow as well. There's a Varus ulti. Like, there are enough tools on Schalke's side to keep forcing plays now that you have the advantage. They are hovering around Rift Herald to see if they can maybe force a play around an objective. But ROCCAT, they know part of stalling is kill the enemy vision, so they have to place new vision and they have to go back to base and get it again, and you just keep kind of delaying the game that way. Doing a good job with that now. Look at all these control wards here. That's Freddy.
It's a big investment in control wards in the ROCCAT squad. We'll have to look at the numbers once the game wraps up. And of course, as we're approaching 20 minutes, 2 towers to 1, 6 kills to 1. It's just that Ocean Drake left alive, not yet secured. And for Schalke, it's very clear they've shifted their priority to this top half of the map. The Herald, obviously, the objective to take before it despawns. And there's a lot of support here for Pride. NukeDuck, Boris, Vander instantly collapsing it.
ROCCAT on the way as well here. Prophet's TP is ready and have good wards to try and move in and land some poke damage first. Might be a big fight here.
Pride has not yet left the pit.
There's no engage.
Of the Forge Guard, it's knocked backwards, but nobody is caught. Pride peeled away. Less than a minute until the Herald disappears. It is killed. Really good objective defense on the Schalke squad.
Yeah, smart play right there. Ready to take the fight. Vizicacsi's ulti was used also to zone the rest of ROCCAT away from that river. Pride uses their Rift Herald instantly, try and get some damage on mid-turret, but we'll get poked down a little bit.
All right, definitely wants to take that tower. Herald's going to get a very good chunk. One auto not going to be allowed. The minion wave is non-existent, so Schalke can't do more than that. But into an Azir, it's going to be difficult to take the tower without a really concerted effort. And they've done good chip damage. So Schalke, fall back, slow it down. Where do they go next? I mean, Baron's up, but it's way too early for that, I feel like.
Yeah, it would be hard to kill it now. 19 minutes and 40 seconds.
Touche. I did say next, implying in...
Right.
In the next 2.5 minutes, Deficio, what will Schalke do?
Well, there is a mid lane tower that's very low, which will be the obvious objective. Playing side lanes for Schalke is difficult because of Evelynn. It's hard to track her with wards, so she can often just appear in a side lane. And when you think you're taking that 1v1, it's not a 1v1, it's a 1v2 and you die. So most of the focus from Schalke will be around push your side lanes and then go towards this mid lane and kill this tower. It's so low. Once you kill that tower, you can finally get deep vision. You can start playing around Baron. It gets much, much easier. Right now, Schalke have actually been playing the exact way we kind of expected coming into this, where it's not necessarily super greedy plays or very risky plays. It's actually very calculated. It's like push lane, roam, have a numbers advantage, make a play. Defend with double TP. And it's very smart plays, very calculated. And that's exactly what Schalke was aiming for with this roster here. You know, they built the coaching staff first and they were interviewing the players. Their #1 choice for each role was signed the moment
they were the first
they could sign them. And they got all the #1 priorities. So like, we want Vizicsacsi, we want Pride, we want NukeDuck, Vander, and Upset. Well, sign, done. Roster's built.
Yep. And in the video they released about a week or so ago, that Royal Blue, they talked about believe in the process. You know, they talked about the vision, the goal, the way they want to work together. And it's coming true. It's a great early game, but now is where it gets really difficult.
And here's that Evelynn in the side lane.
All right, there's the slide and glide. That will at least get the stopwatch as well as the round walk. NukeDuck's able to escape with his life. That's becoming the quintessential Ryze play.
And I will admit, I die a little inside every time I see that play.
Why is that?
Because there's no counterplay to it right now. You press your hourglass so you can't get CC'd, and then you TP out.
I mean, you have to press off first, and then you press hourglass. So you would have died there. But yes, I mean,
I would have died.
In theory, right? In
but
theory,
that's why I'm a caster.
That's how you do it.
That is why I'm a caster.
I like it. I'm getting some chuckles here in Berlin, because we all know Martin would have died to that game. I've seen him play solo.
I assumed that it was common sense that you click ult first, but apparently for you, it could be difficult.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you said it wrong, and I'm technically correct. It's the best kind of correct.
Worst kind of correct.
How does ROCCAT respond? We know Schalke, they want to unlock the mid tower. That unlocks the rest of the map. Great vision again. Every time I look at the minimap, ROCCAT have a plethora of wards. So what do they do? How do they use it?
Well, the main way right now for ROCCAT to be aggressive is actually through Memento, like we just saw before.
Right.
Where he went top, tried to gank NukeDuck in that side lane, which we keep talking about with Evelynn. Because in mid lane, with Tahm Kench Ezreal, it's hard to force a play in mid. But then you can say, okay, we want to play again towards the sides. You have Tahm Kench ulti that can go there. You have, as we talked about, the Evelynn. The problem is Prophet is behind. He's not really winning. He's 1v1. The Azir is not alone going to beat the Ryze either. So it requires almost a full map play as a team. And Schalke won't really allow you to do it because they're just going to keep pushing mid with Varus 24/7. And it makes it really hard for ROCCAT to be aggressive right now. And they're also getting jumped.
They are indeed. Pride almost solo kills Blanc. The Realm Warp will deliver.
Oh, baby!
It's over. The Overload not going to be able to kill. Norskeren devours Blanc to save his life. And you know, Deficio, you said it's going to be hard, but if we look at the gold value differences, even if ROCCAT can find a skirmish, Memento is down 1,400 gold to Pride. Vizicsacsi is, 1,000 gold up. Even in those small 2v2s and 3v3s, Schalke have just got the stats and the gold advantage, and they've bullied their way onto this tower.
And again, this is why we're saying it's hard for ROCCAT to force an aggressive play, because they would need to get Memento in the side lane, to get Norskeren in the side lane with Tahm Kench, but that would mean that NukeDuck are either overextended or that Vander is not pushing mid. But of course they're just going to push mid all the time, and NukeDuck is going to play safe. So it makes it really difficult to make that move, and that's Schalke then being aggressive, forcing a play, getting another advantage. That mid lane tower we talked about is now dead. And Schalke can start getting deep vision into the enemy jungle and look towards Baron. Grab a Drake on the way if you want to.
And of course now they can fight it because it has spawned, and it's a little later in the game, so
I think that is a great statement.
Than the last time we talked.
That should actually be a quote.
We haven't, I haven't really taken a look at the runes just yet, but Vizicsacsi, Unsealed Spellbook up there in the top lane. Norskeren on his Tahm Kench. What do you make of that? Ornn, Spellbook, like it, not like it?
I think Spellbook on support is really good. I think on Tahm Kench as well. I like it because a lot of times with Tahm Kench, you're not really playing to try and win lane specifically, so you can take Spellbook, which doesn't necessarily offer you a lot of kill pressure per se. Instead, you can just pick a very safe summoner spell early on, and then later, if you want to make some crazy plays where you want to TP somewhere as a Tahm Kench, you can do that. Or if you think you need something like Cleanse, because you need to be able to devour someone, you can't be CC'd, well then you can now pick it here in the late game, and it adds a ton of value for you.
Talking about value, Vizicsacsi wants to get the most, which is why he's waiting in the wings. But look at this, there's a pincer move being set up.
I mean, it is. Let's see if we can actually hit it.
All right, Call of the Forge Guard. That will against one knockup. That's going to force the flash. Now, NukeDuck takes a lot of damage. He's forced to back away. A little bit of an optimistic engage, and Norskeren forced to use flash and cleanse.
Well, seeing as the engage is focused on skill shots from Schalke, ROCCAT can actually get out with most of the members, which is why Baron is going to be the big play for Schalke here. ROCCAT, the fact that Gnar is behind is so annoying for them because they're not winning in any of the side lanes unless, again, they send multiple members. But they're not being allowed to send multiple members because then they might lose something in mid. And it just means that Schalke are dominating the river, will start setting up for this Baron, which will be the next play. And in the Baron area, it is much easier to hit an Ornn ulti.
That is true, especially if ROCCAT want to contest at all. Schalke have got themselves that 5,000 gold lead at 26 minutes, Deficio, and more items are being completed. Pride 004. He's up 60 CS over his opposite number, plus the assists that equates to 1,700 gold. Duskblade of Drakthar, Ghostblade. That is an all-in assassination build, which I love, into fairly squishy champions. Memento Blanc.
Oh, he's jumping him.
Does indeed. Almost one-shot Blanc. Forced to flash over the wall. Here comes Memento.
No, didn't hit that all.
Find it just yet to Memento. Forced to escape. The Devour comes up. Now NukeDuck's in trouble. He gets devoured. Burst out, chunked out, kill.
Oh, he didn't get the hourglass.
So that's not enough. The hourglass was not used. 5 on 3, and ROCCAT are on Baron.
Well, ROCCAT right now starting it. Let's see what happens here. Chachi.
He's going to bounce the ram forwards. Vander is hammering away. The Devour buys a few seconds longer as Boris has blocked so much damage. Vander is untouched. He shoots up the arrow.
Vander, the AD carry, God.
Vander with a triple. Hunts is elated, and they turn into the Baron pit. No further objectives. Erwin's on his feet, and Schalke take back the lead.
Vander did say he was putting on his Forgiven cosplay, and we just saw it in that team fight. 3 kills for him on the Varus. That was after they lost 2 players. They managed to defend. ROCCAT did not get the big objective. You just said Pride Stalker, lethality, aggressive build. Well, he heard you. He jumped forward. Sadly for him, there was no backup. He then goes down. Great ulti from Norskeren. And NukeDuck did not get to use the Hourglass. And therefore he didn't get TP'd out. And he died.
Oh, just a great turnaround play. I was trying to remember where Vander quoted. He said that he's trying to teach Upset the ways of Forgiven.
It was when he cut his hair. He said he did a Forgiven cosplay.
There we go. And of course, Vander, apparently he's a great teacher because he's doing exactly what Forgiven used to do. Winning team fights he had no business doing. Now, let's be fair. Chachi and Boris provided fantastic distraction and disruption to allow Vander to clean up that fight. The amount of damage blocked by that Unbreakable and the frustration of that Call of the Forge God, it really did help.
And best feeling ever for Vander right there. On-hit Varus build that just gets to sit and land every single auto attack.
That's nearly more than the entire team ROCCAT combined.
I think it is more than the entire ROCCAT team combined.
Just shy of it, but we'll give it to him close. And that means 10 kills to 3. Schalke have Baron. If you do the math, it is over 5,200, therefore. You see? Quick math.
How is that more?
Right, Schalke with Baron.
Did you just beat me on math? I just lost to QuickShot on math. That is horrible.
It's the only thing I can do is arithmetic. Everything else, I'm screwed. There's no game sense in QuickShot's playbook. Anyways, back on screen. It's a 3-lane push. Chachi, no TP. Doesn't need it just yet. He's pushing top. NukeDuck's down bottom. And the 3-man stack is keeping Heaq and Norskeren busy.
Same setup we've seen for the last 10 minutes from Schalke here. Vander, perma pushing the mid lane. NukeDuck feeling confident in the side lane because he can Hourglass ulti away from a potential gank. And of course, Chachi just perma pushing his side. Right now, a lot of damage being applied to the bot lane tower. Same thing for mid. Pride looking for someone who roams between the lanes. Or maybe Heaq.
Oh, great pullback. Vizicsacsi from inside the Wolf camp sets up 2 more kills. Now there's Blanc, forced to run for his life. The Cannon minion almost took him down. NukeDuck round warps in just to watch them run away. Takes down the inhibitor turret, takes down the inhibitor, and Schalke, they may set their sights on the Nexus turret.
I mean, just keep going right here. 40 seconds on the Azir, 20 seconds on the Ezreal. Right now, Memento is trying to sneak behind them.
Not gonna be enough. That's a bounce backwards. Memento forced to run for his life. Vizicsacsi with a bellows breath, just pushing forward onto the Nexus turret. The second one falls at the 30-minute mark. The last kill of the game as the Nexus falls, and Schalke null fear take down ROCCAT.
Chairs apparently being thrown off stage as well. Upset sitting at home, not able to play today. Vander moves to AD carry. Great last team fight from him. And this Schalke lineup showed some really good macro moves. I love the way NukeDuck used early advantages to just roam first top lane, then bot lane. Nice defense as well in that bot lane dive. And after that, ROCCAT couldn't do anything really. And ROCCAT tradition, whenever they play against a team with subs, they lose.
It's a true story. True story. Schalke meeting the fans as they walk across the stage, back in the LCS with effectively 2 substitutes, Vander with the role swap and of course Upset not playing, and it was just a great performance. Now, take a little bit to talk about the ROCCAT squad. They had moments early on. I really like the vision. That's the only real big performance I can take away from this.
Big performance from the vision.
That's it. I mean,
plays a lot of control wars.
Hey, it's a true story. It's a true story.
It was
It's just unlocking the next steps, right?
It was a good setup on the map, yes, and going for the play, it made sense what they were trying to do.
Yes.
You know, the jungle had shown on top side. It was 5 versus 4. There was a Varus you could kill very easily. Sadly for them, when a double TP happened, Vizicsacsi lands like a 3-man ulti from this Ornn here, and NukeDuck just goes crazy on them.
It was such a good setup. Chachi was at the Wolf camp, pulls in the Forge Guard, knocks it back into lane. It just felt like everything clicked. You know, it's very hard to fault the decision-making of Schalke at any point.
Yeah, I think mid lane control was huge from NukeDuck's side, and they used that so effectively so that later on in the game, Chachi had no issues at all after he got ahead in his lane. Pride did his job, and the bot lane tried to survive for as long as possible. They couldn't really do much in 2v2, and then we're just kind of waiting for one team fight where they could actually do something.
Deficio, did we get a taste of all of the hype that was preceding Schalke Because there was a lot of people talking about potential. Pride could step up. The year of NukeDuck. I mean, we almost killed that in one game already. But, you know, like, is that what you were expecting?
In terms of the decisions they made on the map and how they reacted to the enemy plays, yes. Because I think they actually played very smart. And with or without upset, they can do that, of course, because they have multiple members with a lot of experience.
4 of the 5, shot calling.
Exactly.
You've been prepping for long.
At this point, we just have to say that upset needs to be scared because Vander had a good performance, especially that last team fight, and he's probably not giving away that AD carry role.
I'm not so sure about that one. We'll soon hear what NukeDuck makes of Schalke's win and get a look at Splyce as their new players hope to make a statement in their first game against Fnatic. After that, though, it's time for the EU LCS post-game lobby, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 3.5. Hasn't used it